Yeah, welcome to the August edition of the Entrepreneurship Clinic right here on PCG TV. In Thy Light, There is Light. And this is brought to you by the Development and Social Services Department in collaboration with PCG TV. And we are supported by Salem Water and the Salem range of products. My name is Mavis Nakole Ayi, and we are here to feed you with something very important as far as entrepreneurship is concerned, as far as bookkeeping is concerned, and then how to also manage your finance. And so stick and stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back on Entrepreneurship Clinic. This is the August edition as we delve deeper into issues about bookkeeping and then also financial management. How do we ensure that we are making the right decisions when it comes to managing our finances, when it comes to planning? How do we organize our books? How do we keep records? These are whole lots of things on their own, and as an upcoming entrepreneur, you need this to succeed in the field. And we have very seasoned persons in the studio here today to have the conversation about a very important topic. And so I'll go right to introducing our speakers for today, our guests who are very seasoned in the field of bookkeeping and entrepreneurship, or when it comes to financial management. Right by me is the person of Christian Ata Enchi Ejekum, who is working with the VN Commodities Limited and is an assistant accounts manager. I mean, he's delved deeper. He's done a lot of things when it comes to organizational development, leadership, and he has also a business professional background, a tall list of it. But we'll keep it here. Later on, we'll read the rest, or we'll say the rest for people to know how loaded you are in your field. And then also, we have a lady in the person of Sandra Chuma Labi, who is an associate member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana. And so she's also having an MPhil in accounting, and then is also a research assistant at the University of Ghana Business School, and does a lot of tutoring when it comes to issues of accounting and then finance as well. You are most welcome.
Thank you.
Great. Happy to have you here with the background, and then looking at the topic we have today, I'm like, we are in the right place. So just let me start with Sandra. You are even teaching. I mean, you are teaching big people, and you are big yourself. And so just to start off, we are talking bookkeeping and then financial management. Let us start with the bookkeeping. What does a person need, or what at all is bookkeeping? Is it about having your notebooks and keeping it in your cupboard? Is it about having notes with all your things in it? Tell us about it for someone who is now hearing it for the first time.
Okay, so bookkeeping, having your notebooks and keeping it in the cupboards. Well, you need a notebook, but not keeping it in the cupboards.
Okay.
So bookkeeping, keeping the books. But what are you keeping? It's about making financial transactions, recording everything that pertains with the finances of the business. And if you are talking about the finances of the business, then we are looking at the income, that is your revenue. We are looking at your expenses. We are looking at even the raw cash, that is the cash flow, the cash coming in and then the cash going out. So basically, bookkeeping is about recording all the financial transactions pertaining to the business.
Okay, so I don't know if you'd want to add on to it before we move into the other one.
Thank you. I will add to what my colleague made mention. You may ask the origin of bookkeeping.
Okay.
We all know for a fact that records of bookkeeping has been with us from ancient of days, from creation. That's why the Bible story and everything is there. But it became standardized in 1494 by someone called, a mathematician called Luca Pacioli. He introduced the bookkeeping form of accounting. And it is believed that he is the father of accounting. And as my colleague made mention, the moment you hear of bookkeeping, the intention should be business transactions. Your business event, accounting uses that transaction or events. Your business events or your business transaction. Recording of your daily activities. And bookkeeping is two words, book and keeping. The book itself, and then keeping means preserve. Keeping your records for a future unexpectancies. Either preparation of your financial statement, tax purpose, Senate, and other things that you need. So basically, as my colleague made mention of, bookkeeping simply means keeping business records or business transactions.
That's very important. I think, Sandra, you mentioned three key things or two that I note: income and then revenue. I mean, keeping those things. So just to ask, what sort of income do you have to record, or the kind of revenue that you have to record? Is it like everything? Is it sales? Like, can you explain the different ways that maybe income is received and then the revenues that are likely as far as the entrepreneurship field is even concerned?
Well, so you have two main sources of income or classification of income, let me say like that. You may have the one that pertains to the operations of the business, day in and day out activities, which will be your sales revenue. So if whatever I'm into, if I'm selling, probably they're selling products, then the money coming in from the sales is what my sales revenue. But then beyond that one, you may have other forms of income coming in, other forms of gain. Maybe probably I sell an asset which will come into it, assets of the business that also bring in some revenue. And so you should be able to split between maybe the money coming in, the revenue coming in as a result of our core business operation, what I'm doing, and then probably other monies coming in as a result of some financial transactions I am making. And then so income and revenue are mostly used interchangeably. And then in the layman terms, maybe you can keep it like that, using income and then revenue interchangeably.
I think that's very useful for someone who is even listening for the first time, because some of these terms are never really understood when it comes to people are just, okay, I'm doing something small, but they don't really keep track of where a certain money is coming from or where their money is even going. All they know is, okay, they need to send something, they need to make transactions, and they just do it and not really keeping track of it. But I think it's an important thing to talk about. So for someone who wants to venture into this, I think we can talk about the financial management, so we can set the pace and then go deeper into it. So let me start with Christian. Financial management, what should it look like?
Okay, thank you so much. In the same way, financial management, I will explain it as I did relating to bookkeeping. There are two ways: financial and then management. And one scholar, Peter Drucker, defined management so well that suits the discussion that we are doing. He defined management, and I quote, a systematic organization of economic resources, of which money that we are coming to discuss form part of the economic resources. And then financial part, financial means or anything relating to money can be classified as finance. So for a simple definition based on the word that I'm borrowing from Peter Drucker, financial management simply means a systematic organization of your financial resources. What it means is that you need to plan, you need to coordinate, you need to monitor, and then you need to forecast as to how your financial activities should be. It cannot be a nightmare that you just wake up and do things the way you do as a business. No. You need to plan, and then you need to be strategic as to what do I need to do as a businessman or as an entity. But the unfortunate aspect is that because we don't know the value of bookkeeping, financial management becomes a problem in a sense that one leads to the other. If you don't keep records, there's no way the financial management will work. For example, you can't trust your brain always. That's why writing is important. If you are asked, last year, how much did you spend on feeding? It will be difficult to record it from your off head. But if you have the records there, you can explicitly mention or say that last year I spent 200 cedis in feeding. That is where financial management starts from. So if you spend let's say 200 cedis in feeding, this year maybe I'm not alone, there's another person. How am I going to manage my finances? And that is where these two topics is very important with respect to businesses and even as we as individuals. And financial literacy, as I may say, is a knowledge that every individual should get the basics, because it helps you in your daily activities, in your business, in the business world that we are in, and you as an individual, because it it puts you on a stage where you plan everything that you do.
That's very important. And Sandra, you want to add?
I think like you mentioned, bookkeeping is a basis for financial management. And if you're looking at financial management, I think Christian mentioned that planning. So in our context as accountants, if you are planning, then we are looking at budgeting. Okay, you make a forecast of, okay, like you said, this year this is how much I spend. Based on that, how much will I spend in the coming year? So you make a budget. We need it. Beyond the budget, now at the end of the period, you want to compare the budget with what you actually was spent. You able to do an analysis. So financial management is not just about the budgeting or not just about the planning, but beyond the plan, you need to make controls where you compare your actuals with what your budget. Then you are able to make some creative actions, which is also very, very important so far as organizations are concerned, or entrepreneurship.
Okay.
And then let me add little, in addition to what you said, monitoring.
Okay.
Because it is the monitoring that will help you to know that, yes, I plan to spend maybe 100 cities, but the year has not even ended, but I've reached 150 cities. Means it gives you the red flag as to what you need
to do. Okay, so let me come back to I think the principles of management that you both have talked about, talking about the planning, the organizing, the controlling, and there's another one, directing. I don't know what goes into that. But in the planning, you mentioned that budgeting comes into the planning. What and what should someone take into consideration to say that, okay, so in planning for my finances, or in planning for, do you plan for bookkeeping? I don't know. But you let us know. So in planning for your finances, so that it can lead to the other things to manage it, because all of these have to come together to be able to manage. It means when you miss one, then the others may be problematic as well. So in the planning phase, as an entrepreneur, someone who is already in business, or even someone who wants to start, what should go into the planning so that this person can know that, okay, this is how I want to move, this is what I should expect, these are the challenges I may face, or even some allowance to keep just in case anything pops up? What should go into it? And Sandra, I don't know if you want to start.
Yes, so now in the business context, so you are budgeting, that is the plan you want to do, and it's basically about making forecasts of your activities. So in budgeting, we are looking at the cash flow aspect. There are different forms of budget you can prepare. So as an entrepreneur, maybe the key thing is knowing your core business operation. That will be your basis. So if I'm selling this selling product once again, then I want to find out, well, in the coming year, 2026, how many units can I sell? And this can be informed based on maybe the sales you made in 2025 and doing a forecast of the market. Based on that, you can be able to prepare your sales budget. Well, you have your sales budget. This is the number of units I want to sell. You know your selling price. Are you keeping it at the price at which you sold it the previous year? Well, it gives you an idea that this is how much I expect to get. And that becomes the revenue, the anticipated, because you are still planning, the anticipated revenue for the period. It doesn't mean you have to be yearly. Budgets can be even quarterly. But you have to be mindful that it should be in a particular period. So if I'm planning for a month, then maybe for January, this is the number of units I'm going to sell, this is the revenue I'm going to get. Based on that, are you producing it yourself? Well, if you are buying it, then you'd have to plan for the purchases. Well, if I'm selling 50 units, I won't go and buy 100 units. So based on the number of units I can sell, then I have to make a plan for the number of units I can buy. Do you want to have more than necessary? Then you have a plan for purchases. You know the units you want to purchase, but how much are you going to buy it for? That would also come into. So you have your purchases budget, and obviously once you are purchasing, money goes out. Beyond the purchases, we don't just purchase the units. You are going to even bring it to your business. Well, there should be a budget for how much I will spend on bringing it into the business, the transportation. So we take off all that, and of the day, we look at the cash inflows, cash coming in from the sales, and cash going out, and we'll be able to get the net cash. That is what we have at the end of the period. So that is what the budgeting will entail.
So I think that's very deep. We'll come back and then we'll take from you, Christian, some of the things that she has even mentioned. That she mentioned a lot about people who are mostly in business already, but even someone who wants to now start, what should they do so that they don't, mistake themselves for people who are already in the field. This is still Entrepreneurship Clinic, the August edition, and we are having a conversation on bookkeeping and financial management. What should you know? What goes into planning, what goes into your bookkeepings, and what goes into you managing your finances well so that you can thrive. And so stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Entrepreneurship Clinic right here on PCG TV. In Thy Light There Is Light. And in this August edition, we are looking at bookkeeping and financial management. And it is brought to you by the Development and Social Services Department in collaboration with PCG TV. And we are sponsored by Salem Water and the Salem range of products. We have the tissue, we have the shea butter, we have the coconut. In fact, we have granite paste and all the other things. And so if you need to trade in any of these products, do well to get to any of the Presbyterian institutions, and then you can get some to consume or to even trade in them. And we are having the conversation with seasoned experts in the studio. We have Sandra Chuma Labi, who is an associate member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana, and then also she has an MPhil in accounting. And then also we have Christian Ejekum, let me just cut it short that way, who is also an assistant accounts manager and has a lot of experience when it comes to accounting, when it comes to organization, when it comes to professional management and all of that. And so we've been talking a lot when it comes to your bookkeeping, what you need to take into consideration and how important it is for you to keep your books. And so we hope that you're taking some notes, because this is where you start keeping your books actually. So let me come back, and we left off with Sandra talking about the planning and what goes into your budgeting, what to expect, how to forecast and all of those. I want to come to you to tell us, for someone who now wants to start, they haven't had any previous experience, what should they take into consideration in planning for their finances in their businesses?
Okay, thank you so much. If you are a startup or you are now thinking of starting your own business, for the purpose of having accurate records, just get two, let me use this one, exercise books.
Okay.
One for your income and then one for your expenses. Let me also add that when you have this in place, any individual with a little an accounting background or finance background can turn these two documents into valuable documents which may help you in your activities. So the only thing that you need is just get two books.
Okay.
Record every expenditure that you incur which relates to the business that you are doing, and every income on the other book that you gain or you get from your services or the manufacturing or whatever that you intend or you want to do.
Okay. All right. And so then I think that is the planning phase of the thing.
Yes.
And so we come to the organizing of your finances. And then is there organizing also in bookkeeping, or you give us the linkages in those two things?
Yes, there is organizing and planning in bookkeeping, in a sense that your activity needs to be recorded daily in the books. And if you are not someone who is well organized, you may procrastinate.
Okay.
And don't trust your memory always. Even today's event, by the close of day, a lot of them will go away. Therefore, the moment the transaction takes place or the event takes place, record it in the book. Now, I will also add that the bookkeeping came in as we gave the earlier explanation based on how it was kept. Now we have electronic form of data saving.
Okay.
So if you can't do the manual one instant, book it in your electronic form. Okay. And then when you get to the workplace, you will record it in your books. I'm saying that for the fact that when regulatory bodies come to your institution, they won't audit what is in or on your phone, but they will audit the physical records that you have.
Okay.
That is why it is essential to plan and coordinate how you record your daily business transactions in books.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Sandra, okay, before I ask any, would you want to add on before I ask any
Yes.
question?
I think two things. He spoke about business transactions. He kept on mentioning business transactions. I think once as an entrepreneur, you should know that you have your personal transaction and you have the business transaction.
Okay.
Please don't mix your business transaction with your personal transaction. So you go to work and you are hungry. Don't pick money from the business coffers to buy food for yourself. Please, ideally pay yourself as an entrepreneur. And then keep business transactions separate from personal transactions, which is very, very necessary. Before at the end of the day, you realize that you are just taking money from your business coffers for your personal use, which is not nice.
Okay, so can you tell us what are the current, mistakes that people are making when it comes to keeping their books? That's, people who may have not experienced it would have to look out for, be prepared for, so they don't make those mistakes.
Well, let me start with the first one. Not recording at all.
Yeah.
Not recording your transactions or not being consistent. So Christian mentioned that it should be daily. Don't trust your memory, no matter how smart you think you are. Don't trust it. And he mentioned that there are some electronic ways you can do that. There are also apps that can even help you. Please, there's a Spend app, Google Play Store. There's a cash book, and Spend app is such that once you download it, it gives you a way to put in your income, everything you are getting. It gives you a place to put in your expenses. At the end of the day, it can even generate your reports for you.
Oh.
And you can even issue receipts using that app. So as an entrepreneur, I'll recommend this app for you as a way of keeping your books. But like Christian mentioned, beyond the electronics, please focus also on your physical records for the purpose of regulatory bodies. But the app will also help you. So some other errors you also make beyond not recording is where we are not recording properly. You are not recording properly. Yes, you don't have any accounting background. You don't need an accounting background to keep the records.
Okay.
You just, like you said, write it down.
What you bought.
What you bought. I bought it for this amount. The accountant, the financial expert will be able to understand. So those are some of the common mistakes that I think people are making. And as an entrepreneur, please don't make those mistakes.
Okay. Any other you'd want, or it's exhaustive so that we can.
In fact, I will re-echo on what he mentioned. People spending business money for their own activities or for their own personal stuff. You know, if you read about the entity concept, we are not much into account. It tells you that the activities of the business should be distinct from its owners.
Yeah.
Okay.
So every activity that you entrepreneur or businessman is doing that relates to you should be distinct from that of the organization. And before you realize, the capital that they started with, they spend about 90-70% on their personal stuff. And then when the business collapses, they'll come and blame other people, not knowing that every blessed day they spend 20 cedis, 30 cedis for themselves, feeding and all that. The moment a sales comes in, oh, give me 20 cedis to buy something, I will give it to you. And unfortunately, if you go and ask, no, I want the money back to close my book. Some move to understand that the people that assess them, they tell them that, are you coming to teach me or tell me how to manage my business or how to spend my money?
But Christian, it's my business, or
yes, that's why you have to distinct your activities from the business, in a sense that when you know for a fact that you spend 20,000 for your personal stuff, you don't add it to the business expenditure. There are other ways that you can do it.
Okay.
If you want to take it in a form of drawings, yes, it's your money, but put it in records that we have withdrawn this amount, sums of money for your personal use, so that it will be part of the business records that The owner of the business took this money not for business purpose, but for his own interest.
I think that is where Sandra's issue of pay yourself, so that
Yes.
you know
Yeah.
you've paid
Yes.
yourself, so you don't have any other business with
Yes.
touching any finances when it comes
Put
to
yourself in
your
salary or
yeah.
allowance. If for a startup, I will encourage that put yourself in allowance
Yeah.
in such a way that you use those allowance to do little errands about yourself. But when the business grows up, at the point that you know that if you can pay yourself even 200,000 Ghana cedis, the business have that strength to
Yeah.
pay you, and therefore you are good to go.
Okay.
But if you start today, and maybe you are starting with a loan or a little capital, and you start paying yourself
salary.
2,000, 3,000, 10,000, within a space of time, all the money will get finished, and then the business will wind up.
That's very important. I think that I was just thinking, so with all these that you are mentioning, we haven't touched on the control part of it. It will come. But I'm just asking, what kind of skills do people need, entrepreneurs need, so that they can do proper bookkeeping, so that they can manage or even plan and do all of those things well?
Okay. I will say, or I'll start by saying, we need change of mind.
Ah,
That is the first important thing.
that's deep.
I will quote our former president,
Okay.
John Ejekun Kufuor, and he said, Ghanaians know the cost of everything, but the value of nothing. If you don't know the value of records, if you don't know the value of what you are putting your money in, that is where the problem is. Call any entrepreneur and ask, how much do you need to get an account person to assist you? They will tell you everything. It's expensive. You have to pay the person no less than 2,000. You have to buy a software no less than 3,000. They will tell you the cost. But ask them this simple question: what is the value of the records that the finance or the account person will organize for you?
They were asked
They,
to do it.
they won't answer because they can't answer, because they don't know the importance of records. So as we kept on saying, if you organize yourself so well, nobody will tell you that it is the books that you are keeping that will help you prepare your financial statement. And when we get to the importance of records keeping, that is where you know that if you go to any financial institution for loan, grant, or whatsoever, the first question that they will ask you, where is your financial statement? And it is the bookkeeping aspect that will help you build all this.
Okay. Sandra, still asking, what skills does a person need? Is there anything that they have to learn first before they start being entrepreneurs and then planning for their finances and doing all the organizations that they have to do? Just the simple ones that
as an
people.
entrepreneur, you want to manage your finances. You don't really need rigorous accounting background, because yours is being an entrepreneur. So you see, you can outsource that accounting bits or aspects. But if you are starting, then the organization or the business cannot outsource, then you just need to be able to write.
Okay.
For me, I think once you're able to write, just record it, that is fine. So the basic skill you need, in addition to what Christian said, change your mindset, is recording, writing skills. Once you have it, it's about making the decisions. You'll be able to make those decisions. But as the business grows, then and the transaction becomes complex, you want to maybe go and take some accounting courses, or probably you want to just outsource that accounting role, where you bring in an accountant, a management accountant, and financial expert to help you with that.
But I think even sometimes with trying to bring someone in, if you don't understand the terrain yourself, it becomes difficult to work with even an accountant, because there may be some things that you'd have to explain, like he mentioned, maybe you're going for a grant and there may be some questions you have to answer and some explanations you have to make. You won't have your accountant there all the time, or
No, the moment you engage someone as an accountant, because you are paying the person for his services, the person can go with you to defend and speak on behalf of the organization. because one, you are paying for the person's time.
Yeah.
And as my colleague made mention of, what you need is the writing.
Okay.
I don't think it is too hard.
Yeah, to take
If
notes.
all other things being equal, if maybe you are not well educated, when you get to the house, at least the people around, your children or maybe your helper, I have this book. Today I did A, B, C, D. Write it in this book for me. You know, every idea, every invention starts from the house. So that is where it must start.
Okay.
Put them down. As I made mention that any individual with a little finance or accounting background knows how to turn incomplete records to a proper record, or single entry records to a proper record, in such a way that it will help in growing your company. Let me put it that way.
I think that's very useful for someone like you have mentioned. Maybe someone is even encountering that challenge. They are not able to write properly or something, but getting someone to assist isn't a bad idea at all. And so if you are just joining us, it's still Entrepreneurship Clinic right here on PCG TV. And in this August edition, we are having a conversation on bookkeeping and financial management. And you need that skill. You need to start writing something. Don't just spend, don't just receive income and then you don't do anything about it. It's just in your head that, so I received from somebody. Start putting something on paper. And if you want to go electronic, start putting things down, because you need them even for your planning for the future. We are going on a break and we'll be right back to continue the conversation. Welcome back onto the Entrepreneurship Clinic, brought to you by the Development and Social Services Department in collaboration with PCG TV. And in this August edition, we are having the discussion on bookkeeping and financial management. We are supported by Salem Water and the Salem range of products with shea butter, hair food, cereal mix. We have the tissues and all other things that you may need. So do well to get to any of the Presbyterian institutions and purchase some of these products for your consumption or for trade. You can join in the conversation as well. Share your experiences with us on our various social media platforms, on PCG TV, on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube as well, or Pressed on Instagram, Pressed on YouTube and Facebook. And so do well to ask questions. We will address the questions in due time. And so this is the conversation we are having, because bookkeeping and financial management is a craft when it comes to anything entrepreneurship, when it comes to anything business. Even if it's a social enterprise that you're running, you need these skills. You need to make sure that you are managing your finances well and you are managing your bookkeeping, or you are keeping your books properly, so that you can make proper progress when it comes to your business. And we're having the conversation with very seasoned persons in the studio. We left off on a very high note, talking about and some of the things that we do wrongly, and even some of the skills that we need so we can be proper bookkeepers and then proper financial managers as well, and the need for even financial literacy. I mean, we're talking about this at the flip side, but it's important that we explain even why some of these things are important, so we can talk about the benefits of why we need to keep our books, benefits of why we need to go through all the principles, all the rudiments of managing our finances. Let me come to Sandy, so you can tell us about some of the benefits when it comes to bookkeeping. Then I come to Christian.
Well, the benefits of bookkeeping. The first is that it helps you do proper financial management.
Explain.
And if you are able to do proper financial management, it means you are able to now analyze your transactions. It helps you to discover very early the loopholes in your business. So think of bookkeeping like a checkup.
Okay.
If you go for a regular checkup, you're able to detect issues early, so that you're able to resolve them. So if you are keeping the books, it means that there's a way for you to detect that things are not going well. So it's like a checkup, just like you go to the hospital for a checkup. But maybe in our context, most people are not even going for regular checkup. So in the business setting too, they want to keep proper books. And then beyond now that you have the checkups, you've seen the loopholes, you're able to also work on them. It's not just about seeing the loopholes. So you realize that maybe you are spending more than you are gaining. You're spending more on a particular item than you're even gaining from that item. The expense related to that is very high. Then you're able to know how to reduce the cost related to that particular transaction. And so it helps you to also reduce cost. It helps you to plan for the revenue. If you are planning for the revenue, you're able to now reduce the cost. Then it means that we are getting to profit. It helps you to also analyze what your profits of the business, and you're able to find out how the business is doing or the financial position of your business at a point in time. Are you doing well? Are you surviving? Are you at a point of running at a loss? It helps you to identify all those issues before, by the time you realize the organization is no more running.
Christian, add on.
Okay, thank you so much. What I will add to my colleague, what she made mention of with respect to the importance of bookkeeping is she have mentioned all the financial aspects. It helps the business to grow in the sense that you know at every point in time your total revenue, then your total expenditure. The second aspect that I will add to it is that it helps you in getting access to loans and grants.
Okay.
I made mention that any financial institution that you try or you go or you engage them for a loan or a facility, they will ask you, can you provide a 3 years financial statement minimum? And let me even extend it to our personal self. In case you are going for a loan, they will ask for your pay slip as to whether you are gainfully employed. If you are not, it means the risk of giving that money to you is high. The same thing applies to the business. If you don't have any financial statement to back your dealings, no structured institution will prefer working with you. So it helps you to get loans, grants, and then as I made mention of, it helps the business to grow.
Okay.
Yeah, some of the essential things as businesses we need to have in mind when it comes to records keeping.
Okay.
Because without the records, there's nothing that you can do.
Okay.
And as my colleague and sister made mention of, if you compare records to our human system, the records is like the nerves. You receive information, decode them, and then transmit to other parts of the body. So if you don't have, if you're a company or if you're an enterprise and you have been managing it for some time and we ask for records and you don't have it, it is as if the business has not existed. That is what auditors will tell you.
Okay, so still talking about the benefits, how does this help in even controlling, we didn't talk about that, but how does it help in controlling the entire, operating properly as a business or as a startup?
Okay, we've mentioned about 3 or 4.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, if you are operating a company, one important thing when it comes to records is internally it helps you to coordinate and monitor your activities. Because if you are paying your employees well, the records will show. If you are not paying them well, the records will show. If you are paying them more than necessary, for example, you are getting maybe 10,000, but at the end of the year, your expenditure alone is around 12,000, 15,000. Run a deficit. How are you going to manage that deficit? If the people that you've engaged is not forthcoming with revenue, then this information will help you to take a decision as to downsize or reduce the employee number, or you motivate them to work more to increase the revenue. All these are internal information that as an entrepreneur, when you have records, it will help you to know. Because literally, you can't use your mind or your eye to say that maybe I bought this, and therefore I'm getting a profit of maybe 100 or 20 cedis. That is what most of SMEs are doing. they don't consider majority of their expenses. Their interest only is the sales and then the amount, the exact amount that they use in purchasing or buying the products.
Okay.
And that is not proper accounting system. There are other indirect expenses that you incur as a result of your operations. Come to your rent, rent of office, even light, even if you are using your house as your office, you need to quantify a portion of their amount as electricity for the business, in the sense that the laptop that you use, you have to charge it. The phone that you use in doing your business activities, you feed the phone with data, you feed the phone with credit.
It depreciates along
Yes,
the way.
and most SMEs don't consider all these things. The moment they buy a 2 cedis and sell it at 4 cedis, hey, I've gotten a profit of 2 cedis.
But all the
No.
other things are not
All
considered.
other expenses, they don't consider it. The credit, the data, and other accessories that they use in getting their income, they don't consider all those things. But if you keep proper records and you ask or you engage someone to assist you, all these things will come to bear at the end of the year when you are preparing a financial statement.
Okay. So with all of this, Sandra, how does it help with, if you're able to keep your books properly, how does it help you to make decisions in the future? I mean, you mentioned forecasting, but just to go into details a bit, what kind of decisions should you even be making based on whatever books that you have kept from where you sit? I mean, the experiences that you have.
Yeah, so how does it even sit in the general organizational context, bookkeeping? Now think of when you're keeping your books, it's basically about recording your transactions, cash transactions. So you cannot take cash out of it. Now think of cash as the blood of the business. As an organization, as an individual, if you don't have blood or your blood is at a low level, what happens? You have to rush you for transfusion. But if you are monitoring it, then you'll be able to know don't have to get transfusion. And so please, cash is the blood of the organization. And that is why it is important for us to monitor it. It is important for us to analyze it. It is important for us to manage it. Because at the period where your cash runs low to a particular minimum, below which you are not able to sustain it, then it means your business dream is no longer a dream. It's just dead now. It's collapsed now. And so for the organizational setting, all the HR management is good, all the other aspects is good, but please, your cash management, which is your financial management, is very, very important if you want it to survive.
So what decisions have you seen people make about maybe finances in their businesses that you would want maybe upcoming entrepreneurs not to make those decisions? If there are any practical examples you can give.
Yes. So the decisions that you're supposed to make, the budgeting decisions, that one you're supposed to make them. So I'll talk about the ones you're supposed to make and probably the ones you are not supposed to make. So we have spoken about the budgeting decisions, but beyond the budgeting decisions, at the end of the period as an organization, you want to find out your profits. It is good you analyze your profits, which will lead us to some of the statements you need to prepare as an entrepreneur. That is your income statement, which will just tell you your profit or loss at the end of the period. Well, if you are running a profit, then based on that, I can make some organizational decisions like, what did I do right? What did I do well? That gave me this profit. Then you want to continue. If you are run at a loss, then you ask yourself, what went wrong? What are the loopholes? Then you're able to make also what decisions that will not just affect financing, but operational decisions that will keep the organization running. So some of the decisions that some entrepreneurs are not making is not analyzing their profit. It's not analyzing the results at the end of the period for them to know this thing must be done. This thing must not be done again. And it is very specific to the organization you are running in, very specific to your context. So what ABC is doing that helps the organization to earn some profit will be different from what organization XYZ is doing, that will help. It comes back to understanding your business environment and applying these general principles.
Okay, I think you made a very important point. What goes right when we are making the profit? Sometimes it feels like people lose sight of what they are doing right and only look for loopholes that they need to address or challenges that they need to address. But I keep asking myself, why is that? Is it because we feel the good things are normal? But in the end, if you don't take care and you don't know what is working for you, then you make a mistake going forward. And so for entrepreneurs who are coming up again, maybe someone even in the social enterprise, not the hard profit making kind of things, are there any differences in approaching financial management for such people, Christian?
You know, accounting works with principles and conventions. It is, the standard is the same, but it depends on how each individual organization works around it.
Okay.
So for startups, as we have talked more on records keeping, that should be their focus. In a sense that that is my colleague made mention, money is a bloodline. And records, as I said, if you compare to the human system, is the nerves, because that is where every information originates from. And let me also add that it is so essential that entrepreneurs get to know that yes, this is the level that we want to go, and this is the level that we have reached. You made mention that we always talk about the negative and then not the positive. The positive, you encourage people to do more, but it is the negative that affects the organization. Because if you dwell on what you are doing good and leave what is affecting the organization, that is possibly where your downfall may come from. So while you praise people for doing good, you also tackle the negatives which affects the organization.
That's very important, because otherwise you'd be there, you wouldn't even know what happens, and then you just go down. It's Entrepreneurship Clinic, the August edition, talking about bookkeeping and financial management. And we've had a lot of conversations here. We are going for a break, and when we come back, we'll do more talking about some of the challenges that they are even likely to encounter in the journey of keeping your books and then managing your finances, and how you can mitigate some of these challenges. Stay with us. Welcome back on Entrepreneurship Clinic, brought to you by the Development and Social Services Department in collaboration with PCG TV. And do well, don't relent to send in your questions, your experiences. Maybe you have some lessons that you want to share. Feel free to share them on our various social media platforms. On YouTube, we are there as PCG TV. On Instagram, we are also there, PCG TV. On Facebook, we are also streaming live. And so do well to share your experiences with us and your questions as well, so that we can all have the conversation together. And we are supported by Salem Water and a Salem range of products. We have the tissue, we have the hair food, we have the shea butter, and all other range of products. And so do well to get close to any of the Presbyterian institutions, and then you can get some of the products for yourself. And coming back to the issues of, the benefits, and then even as social enterprises, we were talking about the fact that they also have some roles they need to play and things they need to look out for. Sandra, what would you want to add when it comes to the social enterprises? What should they be doing in managing their finances properly so they can attain their results?
So for social groups, your motive is not in making profit, but it doesn't also mean that you want to use your personal finances always to support the entity. The social entity should be able to support itself. And so as a social entity, some of your source of income will be grants, donations. And if I'm going for grants and donations, I want to see your books. If you're coming to me for a grant or donation, how do I know that you're actually spending the money on the right project? It is the book that will show. It is the receipts that will show. And so you're also supposed to manage books if you want what? Access to grants and then donations. But in your preparation of accounts, we have to be clear that your focus is not on making profits. And so you want to be able to manage your expenses such that your revenue, the grant can support it. It doesn't also mean that you should have higher expenses than revenue. No, you can make some surpluses. For this year, well, we got revenue or grants like 20,000, but we spent 15,000 on the project. So the 5,000 is surplus. Please, that money is not for you. As the visionaire of that entity, it is for the entity. So you keep it down and it becomes a balance for the next period. And so social groups, yes, you also have to keep records. I think I have a friend running a project, and this year she was like, can you help me with auditing my books, auditing my records? I need some grants, and they're asking for the books. So please, you will need it. Now you're starting, you may think, oh, you don't need it, but 5 years to come, 3 years to come, once expansion comes in, you realize that you cannot get access to some grants and donations because you did not keep proper books or records.
That's very useful for people, because sometimes you feel like, well, because it's social group, anything goes. I just need, just give me money. I need to buy these, do donations for baby and orphanage, something. And we don't really care. People don't really focus on that. After all, it's not their money. After all, they don't look, they are not looking for profit. But even sometimes the question of whether the money you are putting in is giving you the kind of results you expected, I think that is also some key things that must be looked at, because sometimes you find people spending so much, but they've really done little. You're asking yourself, like, how come all of this money couldn't take care of maybe these number of things, and just little results with their understanding should come better. So I think it's very useful for people to now wake up and then do the right things, because when you're even keeping the records, it means that you'll be able to know whether you got the results that was intended from onset, or you are not really getting the results. So thank you, Sandra, for bringing that. And let's talk about some of the challenges that people are, they can face or are likely to face when it comes to managing their finances and then keeping their books. And we'll talk about later how to mitigate some of those
challenges.
Yes.
You know, the main issue when it comes to challenges that you face is about yourself.
Okay.
Because everything relates to you. You know, it is believed that the one who starts the business have the vision or bring the vision to bear and brings people on board to support that vision. So if you don't, you the vision holder, don't do things right, the people that
Then the
will come on
disciples
board,
and followers.
everybody will do the same.
Yeah.
So I've kept on saying discipline, and then it needs to be deliberate, because we can't pass that one and say other things. Because if you don't do that, the others are benefit of doing the first one. So my opinion is that entrepreneurs should, it is difficult, honestly, to be writing without,
Sometimes you lose track.
sometimes you even get disturbed. Why am I doing all these things every day, every time? But the idea and then the brain behind it is that it is that will help you grow. We have been educating ourselves from childhood up to now. Why haven't we stopped? Because we want to grow, we want to learn. It's the same principle applied to businesses. If you want to grow, if entrepreneurs want their business to grow, bookkeeping is one of the essential things they don't have to take. Let me also add financial management. Okay. Because a lot of people spend more than what they get. They have to start cutting their code according to their material, not their size. Because if you are small like me and your material is 1 yard, there's no way I can use 1 yard to sew a dress, but I can use that 1 yard to cover myself to make it look nice on me. That is what businesses have to do.
Okay.
Because someone is spending maybe 200 cedis, you don't have that strength, you want to do same, you will crash. And if care is not taken, the consequences will be more than what you anticipated.
Okay, Sandra, the challenges people are likely to face.
Yeah, so let's get the challenges associated with keeping the books and then challenges associated with not keeping the books. So, challenges associated with keeping the books. Well, people may not keep the books because they feel like I don't have the right skills. And if you have joined us from the beginning, we've reiterated the fact that you don't have to have a technical accounting background. Just need to write. Well, you have a phobia of writing, please, you can use Excel. Okay, it can help you. So the challenges that, oh, I don't know how to record. I don't know how to manage. You don't need serious. You don't have to go to school and do an accounting before you can do this. No. Okay, with your basic background that you can read and write, you'll be able to do what? Keep the books. Because there are a lot of challenges associated with not keeping the books. Yeah. And you don't want to bear that implications. So please overcome that phobia, change your mindset, and start keeping the books. Excel can help you. Apps can help you. Challenges. Oh, I don't know. I don't understand income statement. I don't understand financial statements. All coming back to your father, I think you don't have sound accounting principles. In this era, you don't need those principles. You don't need to go to school to have those principles. The other means you can get those principles. Apps can help you do it. Once you put in your data, it will generate the reports for you. And so that is no longer an excuse in our era that I'm not keeping the books because I don't have the right skills. There are a lot of ways you can overcome that. And challenges associated with not keeping the books. Please, in a nutshell, you are doing yourself no good if you're not keeping the books. You are doing your organization no good if you're not keeping your books. If you really want that dream that you have as an entrepreneur to grow and become something successful, something huge, then please, from today, start recording your transactions, start analyzing them, start finding out your strengths and weaknesses with respect to cash management, and then you see changes in the organization.
That was a very good note to
let me also add this.
Yeah,
if you don't keep the books, in addition to what my colleague and sister have mentioned, you lose your business because the business will wind up within maybe a year to 5 years. The possibility of the business winding up is there. 2, you will lose your capital. The money that you used to start the business, you will lose it because you won't get it. And then the third aspect, which is more serious, is your personal belongings. If it is sole proprietorship or enterprise. Because if it's a limited liability, that one, it doesn't go beyond the business. But if it's sole proprietorship, in case you're having a contract with someone and then you are not able to fulfill your part, the business don't have money, legally the person have the right, any court of competent jurisdiction can give the person the right to sell your personal belongings because of the type of business that you are operating.
That's scary.
Yes, it is. And it is about time we need to know the effect of not keeping proper records as far as businesses and companies or enterprises exist.
Thank you very much. That was a good final word to put out there. And thank you, Sandra. And so Sandra Chumalabi is an associate member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants, Ghana. And then she has an MPhil in accounting. And she's a teaching assistant and then research assistant as well. I don't want to mention the other things because there are many. And of course, she's a YPG member, a district financial secretary. I was wondering what else. And then we also had in the studio Christian Ata Chiejekum, who works with the VN Commodities Limited and is an assistant accounts manager and also has background in business profession and then has strong foundation accounting as well, organizational development, leadership, and in academics he's having some backgrounds in organizational development and then I mean, a lot of accountancy and all the other things, a lot of things I cannot say right now. So, I mean, he is big. You can follow him.
One thing that I did not mention is that I'm a Presbyterian.
Yeah, very important.
And then I am the treasurer for my church too.
Oh, all the money things. They like to be holding and counting their monies. Thank you so much for, having the conversation on this very important topic. And I believe that our viewers have learned a lot, and myself, I've learned a lot, that I need to go and look for more. And so thank you for doing the watching. This is Entrepreneurship Clinic, the August edition, brought to you by the Development and Social Services Department in collaboration with PCG TV and supported by Salem Water and the Salem range of products. You can join anytime. Keep sharing the link also for other people to get to learn about bookkeeping and financial management, so that we can thrive in our businesses, in our social enterprises, and even as individuals, we can thrive in our lives. My name is Mavis Nakole Ayi, and we say that see us again or join us again in the very next edition.